Hello, beloveds. Welcome back to Women Warriors of the Word. It's been a few days, and it's good to have a word from the Lord to turn around and share with you. And you know what He gave me today while I was praying and asking, and was strength and surrender. You know, miscommunication and misunderstanding because of the culture and communities and the way that the earth works is to surrender means that you're giving up, that you can no longer handle it, that you've reached a point of breaking or weakness, and now the other party has the upper hand and control, which if you're in a battle here on earth is absolutely true. But how do we look at surrender from a biblical and spiritual standpoint when what we are used to is an earthly world mindset? And both are correct, which is something that usually does not fall in line with one another. Usually the spirit realm and the earth realm rarely see eye to eye. But when it comes to surrender, or in the world's view, it's a correct surrender and interpretation. In God's view, that earthly surrender is still accurate. However, when we surrender in the spirit, it is not a point of weakness or a point of being overpowered, overtaken, conquered. You know, God doesn't seek to conquer us. God's heart is to love us, to meet us where we are, and then to empower, encourage, provide the tools and wisdom and encouragement that we need, that we can then be victorious. But in order for God to be able to intercede, for Jesus to be able to intercede on our behalf, what has to happen? See, we have something called self-will. In that earthly battle, the commander of those armies, one is clearly leading, the other one is clearly not. This leader must make the determination and decision to surrender. That is his will. If he chooses not to, he could lose his entire army. And the battle can become from a bad point of losing to an ultimate annihilation. The same is true with us in the spirit realm. When we are at a point where our flesh can no longer be in the battle, we need to decide, are we going to release our self-will to fight our own battle, or are we going to surrender to God, not so we can be overtaken, not so that we can be overpowered, not so that we can be taken into captivity, but so that we can be released into victory? And here is where surrender is a polar opposite of one another in the earthly realm and the spirit realm. In the spirit realm, we are crying out to God saying, I have reached my limit. I surrender to you, and then he leads us into victory. It would be as if in an earthly battle, the losing force says, I surrender, and then is able to overtake the country or the battalion that was once beating them. When we surrender to God, he is able to come in and then lift us up into victory. Isn't that an amazing and beautiful and moving truth? God's plan when we surrender is not to overtake us. It is to lift us up into victory, because he has already defeated the enemy. He is already self-control inside of us. He is already joy inside of us. He is already everything good. So when we cry out to him, when we say, I can't do this on my own, Jesus, I surrender my efforts, my will for your efforts and your will, we are then offered victory. But we must let go. We must surrender, We must choose to lay down our own weapons and pick up his weapons in the Spirit and let him lead us to victory. May that encourage you, whatever you are struggling with, whether it's your health, your marriage, your children, your finances, your singleness, your employer, your coworker, the repairs on your car, the shoes on your feet, the depression and brokenness in your heart, the confusion in your mindset. May you surrender it to his will. Surrender it unto God, that he can lead you into victory in, over, and through them. Until next time, daughters of the King, walk by faith.